What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. And this week, I just want to start off. There's been a lot of people saying that I'm a negative person, that I am a swirling whirlwind of negativity, because I like to think of myself as being real. But other people say I'm negative. So I just want to start with some positivity here. And I don't want to pretend that this is something that I wrote. So I want to make sure that we give full credit to Edward from Mainstream Landscaping, because this is something he wrote, posted on his story. So I just want to start off the episode with this, because obviously we're trying to swing to a more positive light on this podcast. So this is Edward's words. I'm going to do my best to try and get the true feeling that he wanted out of this, but he posted that we should all read this aloud. For the best effect in your life, affirm it. So I'm taking his advice, and I'm going to read this aloud, and I'm hoping it will have the best effect on my life, and it will affirm it. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm hoping affirmation will happen, I guess. I feel like if he was writing that again, he might write it differently or chat GTP it, but whatever. So here we go. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As I elevate my surroundings, I am elevated. Creating motion by going into the unknown, I realize I am facing my fears, and in doing so, I am elevated. When I do the opposite of resistance, I am again elevated. Exclamation mark. I don't know if I'm getting that. Like, the universe conspires positivity in my favor. I am love, and I am loved. Be kind, be nice, kings and queens. So I just want to start off the podcast with a bit of positivity, because I think that being a landscape contractor, sometimes it can be a bit negative. So I just I'm hoping, I feel, honestly, now that I've read it aloud, I feel a bit more affirmed.
I feel like he was speaking directly to you. Kings and queens? You're the paver
might
king?
be why I was attracted to that message subconsciously.
Okay.
That's true. Maybe subconsciously I was attracted to that message. I'm just striving for a bit more positivity during the Christmas season, I guess. The season of Christmas. I forgot to mention last week that our truck got impounded and towed. And that was super fun.
Which one?
Cody's bin truck. It had a cracked spring. So it got impounded and it got towed because that was considered a major defect, which is fine. It was a spring that's right behind the tire. So, obviously we spend a lot of money on maintenance, but it was something that we missed, or maybe it was something that happened on the way to the scale. I don't know, but it was a major defect. So they towed it. Interestingly, this is the new scale, they just opened on the 400. And so once our truck had gotten impounded off that scale, I had lots of people messaging me about that scale. They just opened it. It's been under construction for 2 years. And interestingly, everyone who I talked to about that scale says the same thing, that when that scale reopened, the supervisor in charge of that scale was inserted by the Ford government, and he is of Indian descent at that scale. And so when Cody got pulled over, there was 5 trucks with Indian drivers in front of her, then a truck with a Jamaican driver, and then 5 trucks with Indian drivers behind her. And the only 2 trucks that got pulled in were her, the white woman, and the Jamaican driver. All the other trucks were given a free pass. And everyone said that most of the time now, the Indian drivers don't even acknowledge the lights and they just blow through them because they know they won't be chased down and they won't be prosecuted. And so, being that I drive up and down the 400, I was steadily for a few weeks, or at least a week after that happened, I started watching the scale because I thought, this sounds like a bunch of bullshit, that this could be happening in Ontario. There's no way that this could happen in Ontario. But much to my surprise, every time I drove by the scale, the trucks that were pulled over were never, ever driven by someone of Indian descent. Not once. And I saw at least 15 trucks pulled over in my travels back and forth past the scale. I found that interesting, that we've reached a point where instead of solving the problem of having many, many unlicensed people or people that don't have the skill set to drive the trucks, instead of the government working towards solving that problem, their method is to just insert people that are willing to ignore it.
Do you think that maybe they're trying to enforce the safety sandal rule for truckers?
Perhaps. I don't know.
Anybody who might be wearing safety sandals gets a free pass.
I would say that so I was talking to Christy about it, and she gets pulled into the Thixon scales a lot because if you get off the 412 and you're going eastbound, coming from our supplier, the Thixon scale's on, you pull in. And she said most of the time when she's pulling in, there's at least 5 to 10 drivers blowing through the lights.
That's crazy.
And no one pulls in. And they never chase them down. They never go after them. They just let them blow through the lights and keep going. But if you're an undocumented, unlicensed, illegal immigrant, it's far better for you to just blow the lights and hope for the best.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because you don't have a license, so you don't value it. The reason that I would pull into the scales, even with a pickup truck and a dump trailer when the lights come on, because I have a license and I value it. But if you don't have a license, or your license came for $1,000, then you probably don't value it. So what do you care? You just blow the lights and hope they don't chase you down, or that the 7 other trucks around you are also going to blow the lights. Anyways, I found the whole thing interesting.
Nothing to lose.
The supervising officer also came out and gave Cody a super hard time because women shouldn't be doing a man's job.
No.
Well, that's the culture they come from, so you have to understand that they're culturally raised that way. But the officer that was originally inspecting the truck and found the problem actually stuck up for her and made sure that this guy wasn't abusive towards her. And then actually only wrote her a fine because our CVOR had expired, which, again, our CVO, they used to send you an email telling you to renew your CVOR, but they stopped doing that because it wasn't profitable. And I did not renew the CVOR, so that is 100% my fault, and we deserved that. But they didn't fine us for the spring, and they didn't take the plates off the truck, although the other guy was screaming that needed to happen because obviously a woman can't do the job. The other guy let us just tow it off site.
Wow.
So.
Could you float it off site? Like put it on?
You can't. It'd be too tall, right? It'd be way over 13.6.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So we called the tow truck and they went in and got it. And then the tow truck guy went off about how this guy running this scale never prosecutes Indians, and this is fucking bullshit. And so it's interesting that that's going on. And the Ford government they were the ones that made sure this would happen because it's easier to ignore the problem than do something about it. It's wild. It's the 400 is the Wild West of trucking, man. It's crazy what people are doing now. Like you drive up and down the 400 and you just, because there's no enforcement, right? For that subsection of the trucking population, there's no enforcement. So they don't care.
That's wild.
It's crazy. Hey, drive up and down the 400, you'll see it all day long.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever have a reason to go up to 400.
Don't. There's nothing up there that's of value.
Nothing up there for me.
Yeah, there's nothing up there for you. Anyways, the truck went to the spring shop. It got new springs put in both sides. We didn't, I don't know, the spring guy said it needed springs in both sides. The spring shop's a whole different story. There used to be this like old dude, Greek dude that owned the spring shop in Pickering. And so we just towed the truck there because they said Cody called and they said they could do it the next morning. And the truck actually had sod on it. We were trying to get to the job site to finish the job. And it was supposed to snow heavily on the Friday. So we were like really trying to get this sod up there. But when it went to the spring shop, the older Greek gentleman had retired. And it was, the spring shop was in Pickering, was taken over by
Indians.
People of the same descent as the scale house supervisor. So that turned into a total shit show of lies and bullshit. And then when they told Cody the truck was good, because we'd already towed it there without realizing, so I was like, fuck it, just get this guy to fix it. Like, it is what it is. It's a spring. But the guy didn't tighten the shackles. And so when Cody pulled out, the entire front axle of the truck shifted backwards.
Holy shit. That seems like a big problem.
It's a huge problem. Yeah, it's a big problem. So then she called me and said, what should I do? I said, fucking take it back. So she took it back, and then the guy noticed the error of his ways, which is like tightening the bolts.
Wow.
And so he tightened the bolts. And then Cody called me and said, the bolts are tight. He says, it's good. What should I do? And I said, you drive immediately to Brad's shop. Immediately to Brad's shop and have him inspect the truck. So she drove immediately to Brad's shop. And you could see on the spring pack where the axle had slid forward when she hit a bump. It's fucking crazy. It's just whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wild situation where sooner or later a lot of people are going to start dying. Well, people have already started dying, with barely licensed people driving heavily overweight trucks driving through fucking buses and stuff. But still no one changes that. Like, it's crazy. It's super nuts. But it is what it is. We all got to make a living somehow.
Yeah. You got to try at least.
You got to try.
No comes and I can't work anymore.
Why, you're done?
No, but I should be. It's the guys put in a wall today. Finished off a wall today. And all of a sudden we have to do the gas line for it because we have to relocate a shed and then relocate propane tanks, which I don't know if we're allowed to do. Who tells you if you can move a propane tank? My insurance would shit. They would have a shit if they saw me moving propane tanks.
I think you have to have a license to unhook the propane tank.
You do?
Yeah. Was it a big one?
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't think the TSSA would like you unhooking propane tanks.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, well, I don't know either. I just feel like that's...
I can unhook a barbecue propane tank. Isn't this just a big version of a barbecue propane tank?
I think the size and the amount of explosion that would happen is what dictates the So, like under your theory, I could go to the propane storage yard and just start unhooking propane tanks because I unhooked a barbecue tank one time. Like, where do you draw the line on the tank
Well,
being? You need to have
so
some
do you
kind of
want to get
training.
less blown up one way? You just want to get a little blown up?
Well, I'm just saying,
I think you
what
either blow
size
up
of
or you don't.
tank? What size of tank do you think justifies having some training and certification? Like, where do you draw the line?
Well, here I am with no training and certification on hooking big tanks.
I feel like that's a mistake. Well,
And
it's
my
not.
insurance would as
So
well, right?
I
But
don't think it is a mistake. I think it could be a mistake. Like you could pay the piper, I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know. How hard was it to unhook? What did you have to do?
It's a crescent wrench. It's the same as your barbecue, but instead of that little black knob that you spin, you got to use a wrench. Take it off.
Have you ever done it before?
Yeah, we did it 3 times for another client. They had three of them
Three
lined
times.
up. We unhooked it, moved the tanks, built a pad underneath them, moved the tanks back, and then moved them again while they were hooked up because he wanted those little green like rings that go underneath the tank instead of having the tank sit right on the interlock.
Is this like a service you're offering now?
No, but if I don't do it, it's going to take weeks to get done. Like a lot of things in landscape, right? If you don't
Yeah.
do it, it's going to take weeks to get done. And we're already mid-December.
Google AI says yes, you do need a license.
And a narc.
Does it say what size the tank is?
No, I was trying to find that here. Regulation 150 kilogram gross mass exemption.
So I remember when we used to deal with the big 100-pound tanks, when we used to do the tarpon heat for the concrete, and we used to deal with the big 100-pound tanks. I distinctly remember being trained for 100-pound tanks. And that you're not supposed to. And when I went to get 100-pound tanks from the supplier, they used to want me to show my propane card in order to rent the 100-pound tanks from the rental place. But that could have been a rental place rule, not a government rule.
If you were Indian, do you think you get away with it?
I don't think I would know to ask. We'll just do whatever needs to be done.
In your safety sandals.
Yes.
I have a guy who can unhook the propane tank. That's not the issue. But for the sake of expediting everything, I'll
Like you have a guy on your crew, or you know
No,
a guy,
I know
like the pawn shop knows a guy.
a licensed gas tech that can come and undo the tanks.
Hmm. Could you call him for advice and be like, "Hey, I don't want to die. What should I do here?"
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe that's
And
my
he would
call.
say, "Don't tell me it's. Don't tell them you did it. Don't tell them you called me if you blow up."
Yeah, like, 'cause so he unhooks them. Who's licensed to move them? Am I licensed to move them? Do I need a license to move them?
Mike, what does AI say?
Yes, you do.
You need a license to move them.
To remove, install, remove, and service. So no, I don't see much about moving except the 150 kilogram gross mass exemption.
What does that mean?
No person shall install, alter, purge, activate, repair, service, or remove.
We found out that in the course of relocating this gas line, there's a lot of other work that needs to go on at the house. Like he's removing a giant deck, and the size gas line is going to have to change, and he wants to do a whole giant patio in the back and maybe a pool and all this stuff. So the game plan was to get these propane tanks moved and rehooked up along with a generator, but that whole plan just went to shit because so many other things need to happen and there's no season left. It's fucking mid-December. So I don't know where to leave this guy's because we don't have the rest of the work yet either. We don't have the pool or the landscape or anything like that.
What was your original contract before you started illegally moving propane tanks?
Well, I didn't move anything yet. I didn't do anything illegally yet.
Oh,
Build the
before
wall.
you thought about moving, were you building the wall for the homeowner or for the city?
This is for homeowner.
So this was like a residential lead that came in through your website.
No, it's a residential lead that came in from a referral.
From a referral.
Yeah.
What kind of wall stone are you using?
Grande.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, no, but it does the job.
It's
It
a
looks
great
good.
wall system.
It's
I like it. It's easy to build. The pieces are manageable.
yeah, it's okay. It's just okay. It's done.
You think there's a big block wall system that's more than just okay? They're all just okay. They're all the fucking same.
Like Ready Rock and stuff like that is way nicer for sure. But it's not apples to apples, right?
No,
So, um,
I would agree with that.
it's a good utilitarian wall that looks good enough.
It holds back the dirt.
Holds back the dirt. But he wants to use it to hold up his patio now as well.
Mm.
So a grande wall patio, which could look okay, I guess, depending on how you do it.
What he wants to build like a wall around the patio out of grande.
Yeah, like a raised patio and then a step down
Isn't
to
there grande smooth now?
there is, yeah.
Maybe that would be a nicer way to build it.
hmm Potentially. Then you have one rough face wall and one smooth wall at the house.
No one cares about that.
Uh, sure.
Who looks at that?
Mix
I
them
can-
up.
You think that someone's going to come in and like, no, but I'm not trying to minimize all the miters and shit that people cut or stopped cutting. I noticed. Andy Mulder. He did. He's the king of the miter. He fucking posted a thing with no miters. I was like, what the fuck, man? You're the king of the miter.
There were miters in the step caps.
I like how they do that. You know the pool cover where they like hollow out part of the bull nose. And so instead of a miter at the corner, it's like they're fitted. You know what I mean? No?
No, I don't know
Chase
what you
Square
think.
did it. Andy did it. It's just a detail that instead of a miter on the corner of a pool coping, it's I don't know what you'd call it, but
Like a notch,
yeah, they sort of notch it out.
so it slides into the other one.
Yeah, yeah. Looks good.
I don't remember what he did with this.
No,
Mhm.
I'd have to see.
There's a picture of it, I'm sure, somewhere
I
online.
have I understand. I remember it happening, but I don't remember. It's been a long season. I haven't paid close enough attention to what other people are doing.
hmm
It's been a really long season.
Is your landscape season done?
Today we were in downtown Toronto at the corner of Yonge and Adelaide
Saw that.
with the S70, putting in a couple planters, which was one of those jobs when Jack was pricing it. I said, I don't want anything to do with this. This client fucked us around on the holdback for 8 months. It's at the corner of Yonge and Adelaide, and I can't imagine anything good happening there. It's a pain in the ass. There's nowhere to park. Blah, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of reasons to never do this. So then Jack priced it and sent it to me. And I said, whatever you think the holdback will be, add it on. Because that way, if they give us this job and they don't pay the holdback, I don't fucking care. Because we already got everything we needed out of it. And they still said, go ahead. And then we both thought it was a joke. Jack and I thought they were just fucking around. But then they sent us a PO like 4 weeks ago. I was like, I guess we're actually doing this. Fuck. So it's the corner of Yonge and Adelaide during the day, and you're not allowed to stop anything from happening. Conveniently, this morning, the guys forgot the pylons.
Oh,
So I found $6 store pylons that were like 8 inches tall. Put them out. And then the client had said that they would leave the sequesters out by the planter because we had to get them to open up a door of the building that's closed so we could bring the planters out to the sidewalk and then drive them up the sidewalk with the S70. Anyways, that was the description. I called Jack and Jack said, yeah. Said, Jack, I don't know what a sequester is, but there's none of them here unless you're referring to these 8-inch dollar store pylons. And Jack said, I don't think that's what you're referring to. I said, okay. So he called the client who wasn't on site. And the client said that the security guards had a stockpile of sequesters.
What the fuck is a sequester?
No, I didn't know. But I felt I will head to the security guards and do my due diligence. So as I approached the two security guards who I'd already been joking around with because they had no idea what was going on and were totally unprepared for what we were doing. And I said, apparently you guys are hoarding all the sequesters and we need some. So the client, Govin Brown, told us to get the sequesters from you. And the security guard looked at me and said, this would make a great TikTok because I don't know what the hell a sequester is. And I said, nor do I, my friend. I was hoping that you had them so you could tell me what they are. But no one had any sequesters, so we rolled with the $6 store pylons for the whole day. Wow, the guys were done in half a day. And then in the contract, it says, we're supplying nothing but labor. Oh, and soil for the planters and some rigid insulation. Anyways, there's a hard list of things we're supplying and a hard list of things they're supplying. And one of the things they're supplying is shims because the planters go around the poles and obviously the ground slopes so that the water flows away from the building. So you have to shim up one side to level them. Fair enough. No problem. Except that they didn't supply the shims. Then they said, well, we'll get the shims and we'll bring them to you tomorrow. So I said to Ricky, on the way home, stop and buy a bunch of shims. I fucking buy a whole bunch of them because these people are not going to show up with the shims and that's going to fuck up our whole day tomorrow. He's like, but the shims aren't in the contract. I mean, fucking shims are worth $13 for 400 of them. Who gives a shit? Go buy them. I don't care about $13. Sending all of you people to downtown Toronto to not have any fucking shims costs way more than $13. So we've got the shims. We've got the material. We've got the S70 loaded, so hopefully tomorrow we can go down there. We're going to park the bin truck around the corner, load the S70 with the soil bags, and then drive the S70 down the sidewalk and dump the soil bags into the planters, and then drive back for the next thing. So we bought 4 yards of triple mix, all in individual bags to dump into the planters.
Yeah.
So that way there's no mess, in theory.
Is it supposed to pour rain there tomorrow?
Well, I don't know.
We're supposed to
Is
get
it?
35 mils.
Pouring rain right now.
I don't know. I
Rain
should
fall
check.
more.
I have a fog advisory. How do you feel about that? So I have from 8 p.m. till 9, I have 5 millimeters of rain. And then we have 3.6 millimeters of rain at 9, and then 1 millimeter of rain at 10. And then, anyways, it doesn't look like there's any rain in the forecast for tomorrow.
It says 30% for me for Toronto.
Oh, no, there's a whole bunch of rain in the forecast tomorrow all day. That's going to suck. I feel like that's going to be great. Well, is tomorrow Wednesday?
All day.
Yeah, so it says 2 to 4 mil in Whitby. 1 centimeter of snow. Then 1 to 3 centimeters of snow on Thursday, -4. That day, and then I bid a job putting in some footings. And that, for whatever reason, for a client that we do a whole bunch of weird stuff that we don't normally do. So we got that job too. So that's good. Yeah. So we're going to do that next week, I think. But we're going to vacuum truck the footings. Because they're in a bunch of parking lots where there's a lot of underground wires that no one will locate.
Yeah, great idea.
because they, it's like all on private property. So I felt like it's just cheaper to vacuum I think the vacuum truck's going to cost like $1,200, but you're guaranteed not to fuck up anything. And I'll take a $1,200 bill over a guarantee of not fucking up anything.
Yeah.
All day long.
Well spent.
Yeah. And then we're going to get some of that mix on site concrete there to fill them.
Like you're gonna bag it, mix it yourself?
No, we're going to get like one of those mix on site trucks
Oh,
to mix they have like the little chute that comes out, and maybe we'll borrow Mike's mud mixer.
there
You
you go.
could. Hasn't been used in a year and a half.
Is that because you didn't have any concrete footings to do this year, or because you just didn't like it?
It's because I didn't have any concrete footings to do this year at all, or pads or anything. Yeah, it needs a new spindle.
Why?
The old one is short, and the guy at H&A said that it's because it's broken, I guess. But that's how I got
How many
it.
times did you use it?
I used it once, but I bought it used.
Why'd you buy it used?
It's the only way I could get it, unless I wanted to pay like an additional $2,000.
How much did you pay for it?
I think it was like 2,200, something like that.
I would pay that.
Yeah.
But if you
the
wanted
rental
if you wanted a new one that didn't have a broken fucking spindle,
Well, here's the thing. With that, Sunbelt was our only dealer in all of Ontario at the time. I don't know if that's true still now. And it was only the Sunbelt in Scarborough. So I went out to Scarborough and I asked them about it, and they said, yeah, it's never been rented all season. They had 3 of them. And they're like, we'll definitely sell you one, and you don't have to buy it for brand new. We want to get off these things, basically, they said. So that was about a month before I started the job, and I said, great, I'll come pick it up in about a month. And then in that time period, it must have broken. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it with a shortened spindle or a long spindle. I don't know. And when I went to buy it, the guy ghosted me, and we had agreed on a price. And then when I went to buy it, the guy wanted to charge me $1,000 more for it. And I said, no, like this guy, we already agreed upon a price. Here's the email, blah, blah, blah. So I eventually got it for the $2,200 we agreed upon. But apparently in that 1 month period, people had started renting them. So yes, I should have probably bought it new, but that wasn't the thought process going into it. It's being that they went a whole season without, or a whole year basically. The job was, I started it in end of September, so they went a whole year basically without renting them out.
and then they suddenly became popular.
Suddenly, I guess.
That's marketing, bitch.
Yeah.
Influencer marketing. Influencer marketing stepped up, and the mud mixer was famous.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking famous. What? Because remember there was all those viral mud mixer videos?
Yeah.
There's no more viral mud mixer videos.
No, there isn't. Well, I still get quite a bit of tilt rotator stuff in my feed.
I don't get nearly as much. Wonder why that is. I'm thinking about next season. We need a oh shit. Sorry, man. Next season we need a 4-ton or something like that with a tilt rotator on it.
Great. Do it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't really want to. Try not to buy stuff. I think we're going to buy another triaxle too. And I'd much rather have another triaxle than a fucking 4-ton excavator. I don't really like 4-ton excavators. They don't really do anything for me, but I really like the fucking dump trucks.
Bet the 4-ton excavator makes them more money.
No, not even fucking close.
Are you sure?
100%.
Are you subtracting the guy that you can now fire because you don't need an extra set of hands because now you
It
have a total.
wouldn't. There's no fucking way a 4-ton could ever come close to making me as much money as a triaxle dump
Last
truck.
week you said trucks don't make money.
Everyone says that. I say they make money. I make money with trucks. I don't think a 4-ton. If it was a bigger excavator, like say your 20-ton excavator, I would say that would be close,
Hmm.
depending on how much work you have for it. But a 4-ton excavator, I think that it will. I think it might eliminate having to hire someone for sure. But I don't know. If 4-ton excavator is a 4-ton excavator, man, it can only swing so many fucking times, and it can only move so much dirt.
Yeah. But it sure is nice to have.
I think it probably is nice to have.
It's a great size shovel.
I've never had one. I think a 4-ton excavator in general is a great size of excavator to have. I agree with you. Whether or not it has a tilt rotator on it or not, I think is irrelevant. I think it's still a great excavator size to have, even with just a swing bucket and a regular bucket. I think it's still a great size excavator to have because we have an 8-ton and we have a 2-ton.
Yep, me too.
So having a 8-ton and a 4-ton and a 2-ton, I think that would be pretty handy in my opinion.
Yeah. You got all your bases covered.
Yeah, I think that would be. But if we're looking at capital expenditures for next season, I would way rather have a fucking dump truck.
Yeah.
So
Good thing it's your business and you can run it however you
I
want.
can run it exactly however. Well, I already have. I know I have an entire seasons of work for 3 dump trucks next year, guaranteed. Already booked, already guaranteed full season for 3 dump trucks next year, but I only own 2 dump trucks. So we have relationships with 6 broker trucks that we could call anytime. But the problem with the broker trucks is they suck up all the cash flow because they need to be paid every week.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of weeks where we have $10,000, $20,000 broker bills every week that have to be paid every week. So having our own truck would cut down on that. Having a third truck of ours would cut down on that a lot. So that's why I'm considering getting another truck. Plus, I really like trucks.
What kind are you gonna get?
I don't know. I was thinking about ordering the same one that another W990, the same as Christie's, so the fleet starts to match.
That would be
Or
too, though.
maybe getting another, like one of the new Peterbilts. Whatever, they're not 389s or something else. I don't know, but a long nose Pete.
Hmm.
Or right now they have a bunch of T880s at Kenworth that are already all black. They have 3 or 4 of them to pick from. So maybe one of those we would think about. I don't know. I would like to have a whole fleet of trucks that match, at some
Color
point.
or like style?
Style.
Really?
Yeah. I think having them all the same would be.
None of the big trucking companies here they have the same colors, but like they tend to not have more than 10 of one kind. Like they'll try everything across the board. I guess they're hedging their bets on trucks, but
I guess some of it depends on what's available. Like we don't have enough trucks to worry about it. I don't know. Like I don't even care. Like as long as I want them to all be black by the start of next year. We have that one blue. All the bin trucks are the same. They're different models. One's a 335, one's a 340, and one's a, can't remember what Cody's is, but they all look the same. So when you see them, they all look the same. I'm guessing people would recognize that there are trucks because all 3 of them kind of match, minus they have different colored stickers on them. Like one has gold stick. Two of them have gold stickers. One has purple. Cody's has purple stickers. But if you looked at them from the front, they all look the same. They're all sort of done up the same. I don't think anyone mistakes Christie's truck for being someone else's truck around here. So, and even the Blue International has like a custom grill because some guy put a chain through the fucking grill when the truck was like 3 months old.
A chain?
Yeah, the guy whose yard we rent at, he had to pull one of the Shipbox Max trucks out of the snow the first winter we were there. So he looked around the yard and selected our brand new dump truck to do it. And then started it and started yanking the Mac out of the snow and the chain snapped. And I would say luckily it went through the fucking front grill instead of going through the windshield and killing him. So it smashed the grill. So if you ever see the Blue International truck of ours, it has a custom skull grill ordered from Rainey's Chrome in Florida because the replacement grill from International was like, I don't know, $7,000 or something stupid. And the
That's
custom
bill, though, that's the guy driving it $7,000 bill. If you wanted that OEM,
yeah, but I still, yeah, but you got to be like, I'm the one that sourced out the cheaper grill. I actually kind of like it because it's little skulls. It's called the Skull Grill. Call it the Punisher Grill, baby. They look like the Punisher skull. They're like cut out anyway because there was like 5 different custom grills and one of them was called Skull, but there was no picture of it to tell you what it looked like. I was like, I don't care. I want the skull. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't really give a shit. Who doesn't want a skull grill for their truck? So we ordered it. We ordered the skull grill.
yeah.
But I think a 4-ton would be a good, some kind of mid-size excavator for us is, I think, what we would, we're going to buy in the spring or something, some kind of 4-ton excavator anyways. Or some kind of like, I don't know, maybe 3.5 ton, some kind of excavator like that. I think would be the right size for us to buy. I think it would be a good addition. We have quite a bit of work already booked for the spring, so this is the most work we've ever had booked.
Nice. I have a pool surround to do with a pool company that I've never heard of, and they don't speak English. It's for a friend of mine, and I couldn't convince them to go with my partner's pool company because cost was an option, or cost was a big factor for them. But it's a fiberglass pool that they're getting, and so I met with the installer and the client at her house, and we were going over the installation and all this stuff. And so they dig the hole, leave the dirt on site, grade the base, put the pool in, and then take off. That's it. They're done. Fill it with water and that's it. They come back to hook up the plumbing another day or something like that. And I'm like,
what was the price difference?
I don't know. I didn't see the original price quote, but I was telling my friend, I'm like, listen, it's cheaper now, but that doesn't mean it's going to be cheaper at the end because I have to do all this extra shit, right? Like now I have to dig all your pool lines. It doesn't even have a concrete collar on the pool. So they put the fiberglass pool in, fill it with water, and don't put a collar on. Like, I don't know how you warranty the pool if someone else is doing half your pool job, right? And you have to ground that whole collar, so you got to rebar it and tie it, and I'm just like, oh, great, they're not doing it, but it's going to cost me $5,000 to do this. So their bill's $5,000 cheaper, but mine's $5,000 more expensive. And I don't know what to tell you if the thing shits the bed because I never put the pool in to begin with. So anyway, we're gonna have a hell of a time working with this pool company, I think.
So why? So just to the rationale of this client is that this guy's putting in the pool way cheaper than your partner, but then you're doing all this extra work that
Mhm.
you're going to charge. I'm assuming you're not doing it for free.
No, I can't. I can't give
Yeah.
away days and days of labor and material, and
So by the time you're finished charging, would the two quotes be close?
that's what I don't know without having the original quote.
And so this person is still insistent on using this pool company.
Well, they already gave the deposit and they're horny to start in the spring, and it's going to be an experience. And I'd love to document the whole thing. Um,
On your YouTube channel?
yeah, yeah, I get that fired back up. Um, it's been a minute since I poured a pool collar or rebarred a pool collar and tied it
When you
off.
said there's all this extra work that has to go on, what was the reaction of the client?
Well, she trusts me, so it wasn't okay, great. It's well, at least I have you to know what's going to be done right. So, I mean, there's
So when
that.
there's a problem, are you going to be on the hook for it now?
No, I'll tell her. I've been very clear from the start. Like, this is the pool guy's job. I can do it, but it's ultimately not up to me. Right?
So essentially, this person that claims there is a pool person digs holes, doesn't remove dirt,
Yeah.
slams pools down, fills them with water, leaves, and calls themselves a pool guy.
Yeah. There's
Who,
a lot of French pool companies like this around here, at least. Maybe they're Indian where you're from. I don't know. But
no, no.
this is how things work in Eastern Ontario.
There's a lot of French pool companies where people just dig a hole and leave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And then what would, if you weren't there, what does the pool company think happens next after they leave? Or they don't care. That's the end of their job.
That's it. That's it. As far as I know.
So they dig the hole. They don't take the dirt away. Is this like a big property where they can lose the dirt? Or are you going to have to take?
I'm gonna lose it on the property, shoring in some other stuff and all that. But so it's fine to leave the dirt there. I'll move it around. Takes me half a day, sculpt it, whatever. It's not a lot of dirt. It's probably how much dirt comes out of pool dig? 40 ton, you think? 40?
Here, it's usually 8 to 10 loads, triaxle loads.
8, so that's 200 ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know how big the pool is.
Yeah.
It could be a small pool. Like I that's what I don't.
I don't
The
even know.
the pools that are generally dug around here are 8 to 10 triaxle.
Seems like a lot. But I could be wrong too. I don't know. But either way, I know it's not going to take me more than half a day to relocate this around the yard. But even relocating the dirt, you can't just move the dirt and then grass seed it. You know, you got to put some nice stuff on top of it after the fact.
Who's doing that for free? You?
Well, no. The great thing is we have all winter to hammer down the price. Right? You can start in January with their price. And
Do you think that potentially by the end of this, you won't be friends with this person anymore? That you might be better to walk away now and say, "Listen, we're friends."
we're not overly
We know-
close. Like we're not. It's not like I go to her house every weekend.
I hope not.
Well, maybe I will if she's
Does
got
she know how to know? Does she know how to drive her car out of the driveway?
Yeah, she does.
Okay,
Unlike my wife,
like your wife.
my poor wife. Like
So- I'm just saying, if you value this, my advice would be: if you value this relationship with this person at all, get out now, because this is going to go sideways, and the pool guy is going to stop answering. This is the predicted outcome. This is me looking into the crystal ball of the future. We could compare this episode in the spring to my prediction of the future.
yeah.
What?
Let's do this next year at this time.
Well, we can. It's a spring job, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
So there you go. So I predict that the pool company will come, dig the hole, put the pool in, backfill the gravel. I guess are they going to backfill the gravel around the outside? They can't do that without
They
putting.
would have to with the water
You
going
have
in.
to. Like, you have to do it in conjunction with the water going
Well,
in.
you don't. You so you guys both used a word there. You have to. I can tell you after 35 years in the landscaping business, you don't have to do anything. You should do it. It's recommended to do it, but you don't ever have to do anything. I have walked into a lot of projects where I was like, man, you have to do that. I guess you don't. I guess you don't have to fucking do it because it never got done here. So, but conceivably, they're going to dig a hole, crane the pool over, put it in.
Mm-hmm. No, they're going to put it in with a shovel.
Oh, so it's not a big pool.
Apparently, they can put it in with a 6-ton shovel.
Okay, so they're going to.
I understood that much of the French.
When these guys, do you think when these guys left, they were like, "Oh, Tabernacle, loser"?
I don't give a shit what they think about me.
I'm not saying what you care. I'm saying, what do you think they said?
French pool installers think of me.
Can you understand French, Chad?
I can understand enough to get by.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I'm not saying that you care what they think of you. I'm saying, what do you think they thought of you? Whether you care or not is irrelevant. I'm just saying, do you think the two of them were like stupid loser landscaper? Tabernacle.
I came.
Here's some maple syrup.
What? They have
Syrup durable.
they have
Something
more
like
maple
that.
syrup in Quebec than they do.
That's what I'm saying. He probably said, "Here's some maple syrup. Shut up and leave me alone."
No.
Anyways,
I don't know what they thought of me. I'm sure lots of
what kind
people.
of truck were they driving? Like a brand new Denali with the whole side of it caved in?
The sales guy who came, not the installer who came. Right?
Where's he based out of?
Quebec, Gatineau, or I don't know, somewhere near Montreal. I don't know, somewhere French.
None of this hiring out of province people who do speak a language that you can understand just seems like a terrible plan.
Yeah. That's
The whole time we were working at the spa in Whitby, everyone was like, "I don't understand why this project isn't going smoothly." And I said, well, a company from Quebec hired a company from Alberta to do architectural drawings for a project that's happening in Ontario.
Yeah.
And during that exchange, no one thought this might be a fucking problem because the construction rules in Quebec are like the construction rules, whatever you want to call them, the regulations, the construction regulations in Quebec. If you were to transport them to Ontario, they would be like from 1958. But then there's a whole different set of construction rules in Alberta. So, like, I don't like when we were building the spa, they had to build a big retaining wall. And so the crew of people that came from Quebec, the spa people that came from Quebec, what they did was they bought two 40-foot, 8-foot high sea cans, jammed them together, and then we put all the dirt against them. And then they put a mobile building on the other side of that. And when it was happening, I begged them to let me at least put some 3/4 clear in a pipe along the bottom of the sea cans. And they said, no, this is how we do it at home. This is how you build a retaining wall. You don't know anything in this fucking province. Currently, if you were to go to that place, the sea cans have pushed into the mobile home in less than 3 years. But that's an accepted building practice where they're from, which respectfully, I'm not from there, so I don't know what their fucking building practices are. I certainly couldn't read them because all the signs are in some other fucking language. Anyways, I feel like this is already off to a really bad start when the homeowner said, you know what I'm going to do? Source out the cheapest contractor I can find from another province.
Mhm.
Even saying that out loud,
Yeah.
it
They've been warned. I've told them that I'm going to continue to point out everything along the way that's not correct, right? And I'm not going to gouge them, but I'm going to make sure in the end I've done everything I can to make sure they get a great project. But there are some things out of my control. And we've had this conversation multiple times. There's phone calls, there's text messages, there's everything to support that, right?
why do you think they're so obsessed with getting the cheapest price? Just out of interest
I
sake.
think that they're already invested in it and they've given their deposit and they're ready to go. The company's been down a couple times.
But why do you think they were so obsessed with finding the absolute cheapest person to begin with? Just because of budget, and they're like, we want.
Potentially.
What are
'Cause
they
the pool's
getting
not
installed
cheap,
for
right?
their
Like,
patio?
what's that?
What's the product that they're getting installed for their patio?
I'll probably
Porcelain?
do like Blue Grande or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still not a
Does it
cheap
get much
option.
cheaper than that? I don't know. Blue's pretty cost effective. Is
I
it not?
mean, it could go like Kensington or something like that.
What's a Kensington?
Uh,
Kensington doesn't exist out there because Kensington
oh, right.
wasn't actually part of Permacon. Kensington comes from that other plant that they bought.
I was thinking of also like Eco Paver or
Transfer.
whatever it is.
What? Eco Paver probably comes. They probably have. Chad probably has Eco Paver. That's a Permacon straight product.
Yeah.
Eco. No, I don't know that one either.
Well, those are Permacon products.
I try not to use Permacon products on account of them wanting to sue me. I'm trying to use as little as I can, but
How could you take that personally? Come on, man.
wow,
What the fuck?
they make one of my favorite products, Lexa, or they did. They don't make Lexa anymore. Um, was that hammer finish was one of my all-time favorites, but they also make a lot of dog shit. So,
Now you're gonna get a suit again.
Yeah.
well, they
We're
make some
screwed.
nice stuff, but I've had some real problems, and there's a problem with um, customer service when it comes to dealing with them. From some of them, not from all of them. Like that time I mentioned the insane color difference, and I've told you guys about that job I did last year with
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and I forget what the guy said. Made some ignorant comment about it. Like, what do you want me to do about it or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't get that kind of customer service from other reps.
Where's the fiberglass pool? On rate a percentage if there's a heavy rainstorm and the improperly installed fiberglass pool pops out of the ground. What do you think the chances are of those guys coming back to fix it?
30%.
30%. That's high. That's
think
really
so.
high. I thought you were going high. I was going to give it 5.
5%.
Yeah. It's out of province. What do they fucking care?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Can you even sue? Like, if you have a problem with a contractor out of province, what do you even do about it? Do you go to Quebec? Hey, I'm from Ontario and this contractor in Quebec fucked me. What do you even call? Seems like hiring out of province seems a horrible idea.
I've always been told from other contractors and big business guys, like, don't work with people from out of province. Seems like smart advice.
It seems like fucking great advice because there's a whole different set of laws and guidelines, right?
Yeah. Payment. Who do you shake down for payment? You know?
No one out of
No.
province.
Out of province.
And you don't understand the signs when you get there.
Take my wife. She'll come with me. She understands.
She could shake them down.
You can shake them down.
I can drive right into the ditch, show you who's who. fucking show
And
you
then
his butt.
running outside, waving my hands as she's driving like complete other side of where the driveway is.
Do you think it's your fault for not plowing the snow?
Um, there wasn't that much snow. Maybe 2 to 4 centimeters. She's like, we need sticks. We need sticks. I'm like, we don't need sticks. It's a straight shot from the garage door, straight back.
Was she parked in the garage?
She was parked right outside the garage. No, my truck was in front of the garage, so she had to turn a little bit.
Again, we come
And
back to this being your fault. Yeah. So you took the good parking.
Yeah, because who was at our house? Some cleaners were at our house or something like that. I don't know. The maid, something like that, was at the house cleaning, and she took the good spot. So I had to take the spot beside the good spot or something. Then my wife got my spot.
And you know enough to turn the wheel when you're back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Her video got cut off. Her explanation of what happened got cut
Her
off.
explanation?
Yeah. It got cut off. Didn't show the whole video.
Yeah, I
Useless
only
anyway.
saw part of it.
So I think what I'm gonna do is build a big like oval turnaround. So
She never has to reverse it again.
it's only gonna cost me like $10,000 more to pave it, but if we do a big oval turnaround, then at least it'll save the car from going into that Mercedes is phenomenal in the snow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she went in a rut like a foot low and she drove it right out.
Really?
Yeah, it was off. Like, holy shit. I thought I was gonna have to pull her out with the truck.
Yank her out.
Is that a
Yeah.
busy street by you guys there?
It's right off the highway.
It looks
And
busy.
you're
I
right.
was surprised the backing out into
Yeah,
that.
that's the road that my shop is on,
Oh.
McConnell Avenue. It's like
What'd you do
500
with the
meters.
old house?
What did I do with the old house? I still own it. One of my employees lives there.
Nice.
Yeah.